Welcome, Nancy Sophia Ruby here, and today we're going to take care of our knees. And if you're like me, you've had an active lifestyle, maybe you've had some injuries. I broke this kneecap in two, and I have no ACL on this knee, and I tell you, I really believe that yoga helped me to create enough strength around my knees that I was able to continue with all the activities that I love, hiking and skiing and biking, and I've just built the strength up. And so today we're going to focus on strength, and more importantly even is the alignment of the joint to protect it from any further injury. So I pulled the pants up so I could expose my knees, because what you want to do is put your hands on your knees and bend the knees a little bit, and then pull up, squeezing the muscles of your quadriceps to lift the kneecap. So when I first started yoga in the 80s, that was a very common cue. Lift the kneecaps, lift the kneecaps. And I was wondering why, and the reason is we want to engage the quadriceps so that the muscles of the joints are supporting the patella, the kneecap. If you lock your knees back, and you could try that, your kneecap is quite loose. There's no stability there. You're just leaning into the joint, and that can create a lot of imbalance. So you want to soften the back of the knee and squeeze the front of the knee, okay? So keep that in mind, and then we'll come all the way up, lifting, lifting, lifting into mountain pose, standing mountain pose, stepping the feet, hip distance apart. And you want to feel the soles of your feet grounded down. Evenly balanced on your feet is also going to lead for even balance in your knees. So we engage the muscles of the legs, and we hug to midline isometrically, so you can feel that stability happening, and bring the weight of the hips of the pelvis back over the heels. And then zip up that abdominal wall, get your core strength lifting your spine, because when we hold ourselves up from the core of our body, we also put less pressure on the knee joints. If we slump, if we just get lazy and hang on our joints, it puts more pressure on the knees and the feet, and they will get uncomfortable. So you want to lift it all up, hold nice and tall, all the way to the crown of the head, and feel that alignment. Take a few breaths here, just grounding into this present moment, and recognizing that the knees represent stability in our life. Let's take a deep breath in on that. And as you exhale, create a gentle inner hug. Full deep breath in, being right here, right now, focused on caring for your knees today. And exhale into your foundation, into your strength. Nice full deep breath in, and then let that go, keeping that sense of lift inside your body. I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see alignment, because now we're going to bend the knees, and this time as we bend the knees, you want to send the hips way back so that the kneecaps stay behind the toes, not dropping it. If you tuck the tail, oftentimes the knee go forward, that puts a lot of pressure right in that joint. So taking the hips back, knees behind, okay? Feel the weight more in your heels. Lift the belly, lift the chest, draw the shoulders back, maybe take the arms out, and then as you stand up, feel yourself squeezing around the knees. Inhale, lower back, let the glutes be your strength, and then up into the quadriceps, in and out. Notice, look down and make sure you've got those knees behind the toes. And if you think of this, if you do this now in your formal practice, then you'll think of it throughout your day when you're just going through your day-to-day activities, right? That's when injury happens, if we become mindless. But by practicing here with me now and on a regular basis, your body will become very aware of what functional alignment is, and it'll want to go there naturally. That's what you want to do, is create these healthy habits. Let's do this 3 more times. You know, I do a lot of squats in my yoga practice, you might have noticed, and that's important. Do them every day. Now we're going to practice opening up and strengthening the side of the hips. So that was for the quadriceps and the glutes. When we stabilize those muscles, it helps the knees. And then really important are your gluteus medius muscles. When these are strong, it helps the knee stabilize so it doesn't drop in the midline. This is a very common football injury, right? You know, a little ACL injury. And one of the first things that we'll do in physical therapy is start to strengthen the outer hips. So let's take one leg out and find your stability on one leg without locking the joint, of course. Hands maybe on the hips. You're going to lift that up, not leaning over. Keep your head upright. So you feel that squeeze and then bring it down. Squeeze and release. Let's breathe. Did you see I was a little unstable in that last one? That's okay. Zip it up here in the core. Squeeze and release. Push down in the standing leg. Feel it. And when you do your balancing exercises, your balancing poses, it's this gluteus medius that's truly helping us hold those forms. Squeeze again, and one more time. Squeeze and release. Should feel a little warm in there. Shift your weight to the other foot. Turn it out. Now when you take the leg out to the side, make sure you inner spiral, kneecap facing forward, not out, because that'll be your hip flexor. You want it facing in so you get the medius. Leg shouldn't lift very high. It'll stop because the hip joint will stop you. So press it out and come back. You can use the arms and down, lift and lower. Now we're landing on that leg this time, just so you get the feel of it. And then we'll do it a second time and add a little component if you want. Squeeze and lower. You'll probably feel this standing leg awakening as well. Squeeze and lower. One more time. And release. Let's go to the other side. We're going to repeat it. This time I'm going to invite you to add a little balancing. Maybe the arms come out and then lift and avoid touching. Squeeze, squeeze, and you're standing on one leg. If that doesn't work for you, go ahead and touch down. But eventually, balance will happen. You could let the arms move with you. Nice and easy, not momentum, muscle, not momentum. Squeeze, lower slowly. So you're controlling the movement. One more time. And land. Shift your weight. Take it out. Lift it up. Enjoy that movement. Enjoy waking up your muscles. You can even bend the standing leg a little bit. I was touching down. See if you can balance. Or just breathe out, H-A-ha breath. I like to make noise sometimes. One more time. And land. Okay, so those should be warm, and I'm going to have you feel them in our more traditional pose of the Virabhadrasana. Warrior two, two arms out. First, rotate the pelvis. This is an important action because what we'll do is rotate in one direction, turn out on the heel, so you have a nice distance right to left between your legs. Let your back heel turn out. So we're letting the pelvis turn a little bit, okay, and ground down. This is your anchor point back here. And just like every other pose I've taught so far is avoid locking the knee, lift the thigh, and then we'll take our hips back. Make sure your hips align with the heel, not the toes. So take it back. And then one other aspect here is we have this ability to rock the pelvis. So we actually want to rock down on the back hip. That'll open the adductors, your inner thigh, and level the pelvis, and we'll slowly bend the front knee directly over the ankle and turn it towards your little toe. So you feel that stretch here. That's why you have to let your pelvis rotate. If you pull your pelvis back hard, oftentimes it pulls this knee forward And that is an accident waiting to happen right there. That creates instability. So stability is drawing the knee open. Let your pelvis turn, sink down. Take that up and down a few times. If you feel like you could go lower, instead of sinking out over the toes, you'll just go wider between your feet, like that. And then pause, and here's the key. Keep that knee open. Instead of cranking back on your hip, which brings your knee in, let your pelvis turn and let your belly, your soft belly and your ribs roll open. So that you're facing in warrior two, the long edge of the mat, arms wide open, and then look over your fingertips. Sink into the inner thigh, the back leg, dropping that pelvis down the back side, and breathe. Relax your toes, anchor the four corners of your feet, hug the legs towards each other even though they're far apart, and feel your balance and stability. One more breath. To come up, push down to rise up without locking the knee. Turn the toes in. Okay, adjust your feet so you feel stable. And let's rotate the hips back and forth again. Okay, so now we're going to turn the pelvis, then roll out on the heel, relax the toes, anchor the back leg. This is your anchor, so ground it down, squeeze the muscles of the thighs, draw the hips back so they're aligned with the heel, and then rock the pelvis so you can drop down. Level the hip bones, and then knee over ankle, and straighten. I'm going to go a little wider. Knee over ankle, and straighten. So go where you can go with a sense of stability and safety. And when you come up, make sure you're not locking that joint. It's very common to lock here. So feel what it's like not to do that, to feel the strength around the knee, controlling that joint, building and releasing. Now we're going to come down, keeping that knee turned open. Feel both inner thighs stretching. Let your pelvis rotate, but then take your navel, your rib cage, and your shoulders and open them. Look out over what is now the front fingertips. Keep sinking down in the back inner thigh. Anchor the feet. Activate the legs. Lengthen the spine. And rest well in this strong, mighty, peaceful warrior pose. One more breath. Anchor down and then squeeze up. Bring the toes in, hands down. Walk in a little bit, and then we're going to bring your heels in more than the toes. From here we go into goddess pose, so the knees bend, and watch your knees, not me, watch your kneecaps facing the second and third toes. If they don't open, bring your toes further forward. So adjust the feet and the knees so they're aligned. And then we're going to sink down as far as possible, opening the hips and then squeeze it up. Feel yourself lifting those quads. Inhale down, squeeze around the knees. And squeeze. And take the arms out if you want. Maybe take them forward and pull them in. You know, just kind of decorate the pose any way you want. But keep your mind in that lower body stability. And then we'll come down one more time and stay there. Take the arms out in a cactus, elbows forward, thumbs back. Maybe they bring the index finger thumb together. And just little pulsations, squeezing into the glutes now. So strong hips and legs support the stability of the knee. Little pulsations, not bouncing. You're squeezing and releasing. Shoo, shoo, shoo. One more squeeze and all the way up. Bring the toes forward. This time the feet are parallel outside edges. Again, soften the back of the knee and take the thighs back so you can hinge at your hips. With blocks, you might want to grab blocks, put them on the floor in front of you, shoulder width apart. I'm going to go a little bit wider. I actually like my blocks lower, but if you have a longer torso and shorter limbs, you want your blocks higher. From here, shift your weight back. So you feel your weight more in your heels, and a nice stretch through your gluteals. And then as we bend one knee, you want to look over, and again, keep that weight back. So the knees behind the toes. I'm going to move the blocks with me. And then take one hand to the hip and rotate belly, ribs, and chest. Now feel that stretch in the thigh, the inner thigh of the straight leg. And just watch the alignment of your bent knee. Really teaches you a lot about keeping the stability around the knee in functional alignment. One more breath here. Ease into the inner thigh. And then straighten. Unwind the torso. Take a little bow. Bend the knees more if you want. And then lift it up. Nice long spine. And then shift to the other side. So as you go, if your knee comes forward, you can lean way back, almost like you're going to fall over. Get it in your heels. Walk your hands over. Rotate the spine. And drop into that inner thigh of the straight leg. Now move your breath through your body. Open your chest, open your throat. So spine is long, not rounded, not collapsed over here. You want to lift up. That's why you might have a block, so you can push up and open the chest more. Feel into that lunge. And then begin to straighten the leg without locking. Come back around. And let's take one more bow down. Forward fold. Maybe your hands come onto the floor. Curl in. So creating length in the hamstring is also a nice release for the knees. If the hamstrings are tight, you'll often feel that in the back of the knee joint. If you sit a lot, you'll definitely feel it. So give yourself a stretch break after long seated positions, like car rides and airplane rides. Open those hamstrings. Open the knees. Last breath. Now we're going to come up just halfway. Bend the knees. Shift one knee down and then the other. So you're on your knees. And we're just going to come around on our hips. Super easy. Okay? Move the blocks. Actually, they're going to come in handy in a little bit. Move them to the end of your mat. And then grab a blanket and fold it narrow like that. Place that underneath your knees so your knee joint stays slightly bent. So it just teaches you what is slightly bent. Hands can either come right next to your hips. If those hamstrings are long enough and you can sit upright, a lot of people need to lean back a little bit. That's fine. What we want to do is get the spine lifted and not rounded. So keep that lower back hugged in, and then with the knees slightly bent, activate your feet, spread the toes, and then you're going to squeeze the quadriceps and release. If you can sit upright without the support behind you, place your hands on your knees and feel that action. Squeeze and release. So just being in right relationship with your knees, knowing what you can do to support them. And believe me, I come from experience on this one because both of my knees have definitely been challenged, and there's times when they go into a little bit of injury, if I have a little bit of inflammation in there, if I overwork them, and then I just have to treat them right, you know, do some ice, rest, elevate, bring them back around, and then go right back into my strength work, okay? So, I want to keep those knees functioning. One more squeeze. You're doing this. Hold it up. Feel how strong that is. Your kneecaps are solid, and then release down. Shake it out. want to be able to release too. Now we'll step into a little bit of a spinal twist. And I chose this pose because I want to show you a modification. What I find is a lot of times when we go into these bent knee positions, people's knees might not feel comfortable. And then when you hang the joint, you could feel pressure in the joint, either in the knee or the hip, if it's not working. So if my knee doesn't go all the way down to the floor, then I'm going to bring the floor to my knee by placing a blanket. And once you do that, why don't you just let this relax? That's the whole point of this knee bending. What we're focusing on is letting the straight leg stay lengthened, toes upright, kneecap upright, and then bringing the hands next to my side body, lift and lengthen. And as I begin to turn, I'm going to start from the pelvis. Just turn the pelvis so that straight leg's going to push forward a little bit and keep your sitting bones grounded. So we're not lifting the hip off the ground. Keep it grounded so both sides of your spine are long. Turn from the belly, turn from the ribs, turn from the chest, turn from the neck, turn that whole spine, and breathe. So you can just find your way in wherever you like to put your hands for support. Keep the straight leg upright. And turn from the very base of your spine all the way up to the nape of your neck. Give yourself a nice inner hug. One more nice deep breath in and out. And then slowly unwind. Straighten the leg. Give it a little love. Massage those knees. Always a good idea to massage them with gratitude. And then I'm going to put the blanket aside, because this other side, you'll see, when I bring this leg up, it goes straight to the ground. So not both. Oftentimes we don't have equality right to left, and that's okay. Okay, so I don't need to put the blanket under that one. This knee is just fine. So let's go ahead and straighten the straight leg, the straight leg, lift the toes up. We're not letting it fall out, letting it come up, knee up. This is a yang practice, so we're going to maintain stability. And then placing the hands on either side, rotate, watch the hips, rotate the pelvis first. So you let the pelvis turn, and then the belly, and then the ribs, chest, and the neck. So the whole spine turns and twists internally, giving a nice massage to your internal organs. Squeeze into it. And as you stay here and let that little squeeze take place, just keep in mind that as you go through your yoga asana, you always want to be aware of how you're aligning your knees, the kneecap, supporting the joint, and allow yourself to modify whenever necessary. So don't skip out on your yoga due to injury or discomfort. Learn how to modify so that you continue practicing, so that all the rest of your body is taken care of, your energy gets circulated, and your mind can rest in the moment. Last breath. Unwind slowly. Good. Let's straighten the legs out. We'll take that blanket that's in that long position and place it behind us right at the hips. Okay? It's going to fill in the lower back, hips stay on the ground. You may want your blocks on either side to support your knees. We're going to go into a little bound angle. First, take the feet to the floor. Notice where your knees are so your blocks are lined up. But first, we'll hold on to the shins. Lift the chest, feel your back body strong, and then scoop the belly, squeeze in. Also squeeze your glutes. Arms reach out and then slowly roll down. If you need support, hold on to your legs. Keep rolling down as I adjust things here. And then as you come down on that blanket, it should fill in your lumbar spine, and your shoulders can now drop back. A little more shoulder opener here. Step your feet up, place them close together, And then let the knees open. So if you have the blocks, you can rest the legs on the blocks, but you want them out far enough so you feel that first point of stretching sensation. So we've done a lot to stretch the inner thighs. That's key because those muscles come down to the inner edge of the knee. You can really pull the leg in. So I'm going to open those up and strengthen those muscles on the outside of the hips to keep those knees in alignment. So just notice how that feels. Soften your belly now that you're relaxed and supported by the ground. Chest open, some deep breaths here. Feeling into the alignment you've created today, recognizing what you've learned, what you've felt, what you've awakened. Give yourself 3 more breaths here. And as you finish that last breath, just remember that at any time you can hold any of these postures longer than we do together here. This is to teach you and help you become aware of these alignment principles and how to strengthen. And then when you do them on your own, you can create your own timing. So let's use the hands to lift one leg up and then the other. Get comfortable on the blanket, taking the feet up, hold your knees with love. We're just going to rotate the knees in opposite directions, opening the hips, remembering that when we keep our hips supple, that also helps our knees align along with that strength. Other direction. So if you're needing more strength in your body, you want to also check out my 30-day strength challenge. It works through the whole body over 6 days, and then you just keep repeating over and over, just a half an hour. You can add this practice to it if you have more time, or just give yourself that opportunity to dedicate 30 minutes of your day to taking care of this precious human body, deepening your breath, and quieting your mind. Let's stretch the legs out, maybe give it a little shake, wobble your legs back and forth, loosen everything up. Place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, elbows on the floor. If you need any more support behind your head, you could roll the blanket up a little bit or just crimp it under your neck. Check in, arrange yourself in any way you'd like. If you prefer the arms out to the side, that's fine too. Close your eyes and feel what's best for you so you can allow the lessons of today's practice, the awareness of alignment and the strength and length that you've created, let that sink in on a cellular level so your muscle memory can continue with this work throughout the rest of your day. Take some nice deep breaths in through your nose, filling your lungs all the way. Then relax and exhale through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. One more deep breath in, knowing that the knees are a symbol of feeling strength and feeling stability in your life. Let the breath go and honor that which brings you a sense of support every single day. Thank you for joining me. Stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Namaste.